What's going on, guys? Welcome back to 100% Chelsea and welcome to your opposition preview for the Southampton game. I am joined, as usual, by Freddie from the Ugly Inside. Freddie, how you doing? You all right?
I'm all right, mate. Just recovering from Christmas. Lots of food, lots of drink. You know how it is.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds like my average year, obviously. I've got to keep this figure in trim, to be honest. But, I mean, at the end of the day, it has... Well, how was your Christmas? Was it good?
Yeah, well, yeah. You know, see everybody around. Lot of places to be, people to see. You know, it's like
Did you get any Links Africa? Did you
I
get the box set?
didn't actually. I
I'm,
didn't.
yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I've spoken to a lot of guys this year, and they've gone, "We didn't get any Links Africa." I think the memes kind of become a general trend now, and everyone goes, "No, don't buy that. That's a joke." But I kind of, you need that at Christmas. Just it's Christmas when you get a Links Africa set. But other than that, we're not going to talk about Links Africa. We're going to talk a little bit about our Premier League fixture. Obviously, you are travelling to Stamford Bridge in a few days' time. And it seems like it could be a very interesting fixture. Obviously, we are playing okay, getting the results, but you have that new manager high, and Hasenhüttl seems to be doing pretty well for you guys, is he not?
Yeah, so 5 games in now. Defeat against Cardiff, 2 wins on the bounce against Arsenal, Huddersfield, and then the 2 defeats just recently, West Ham and Man City, both home fixtures. So progress has been made, you can see it, but you could also say that the intensity has perhaps hindered the squad. I think the fitness levels have been tested tremendously. You know, we saw 6 changes against Man City from the West Ham game, and obviously to consider the so many festive fixtures, the team will be rotated, but one thing I would say is that Hasenhüttl's given everybody a chance, and perhaps he's even overlooking some of the senior squad players. We haven't seen Gabbiadini, Hoot, Elianusi only came back to the first 11 against Man City, and a couple of players that you really should see in the first 11. So he's given youth a chance. So we are sort of looking back at this old Southampton way, and it is the philosophy that he follows, but. Progress has been made, intensity's there to see, and he's got everybody believing from top to bottom.
I mean, well, that's the most important thing, isn't it? Obviously, the thing you touched on there saying he follows a Southampton philosophy of playing youth. Obviously, he did that a lot at Leipzig as well when he was a manager. Do you feel that Hasenhüttl can keep you up this season, or do you feel like that maybe the experimentation with youth might not be the right thing to do? Do you think it's kind of a case of you just want to have those experienced players in there to try and really help you push your way back up the table?
Well, the sooner we get some of our, I suppose, senior players, we haven't seen Cedric and Bertrand for a while. Bertrand's been out for a couple of weeks with a back injury. He's had surgery, and Cedric, he's training. He's been in training sessions, but he just seems to be overlooked. I don't think Hasenhüttl likes him. He's been playing 2 youngsters. He played Jan Valery for the first couple of fixtures, and he played Kane Ramsey, under 18 player against Man City. So baptism of fire for him, but. I think the few early weeks is going to be a test of steel, going to be a test of character, and I think he's decided who he wants on board of this Hasenhüttl Express, is what he's been sort of saying around our press, local papers. But I think what it is. We'll soon find out in the new year. January is going to be big for us. He said that he needs to sell before we can buy. So there's certainly a couple of players we need to address in centre back. We need a leader. Still missing one of those. I'm still not sure who is our best centre back pairing or three. We're still not quite sure what his sort of preferred formation. I mean, there's been reports suggesting he likes a 4-2-2-2. Is that too many twos? 4-2-2-2. There you go. Or
Yeah,
a
4-2-2,
three,
yeah.
or a 3-4-2-1, which we've seen some of that. So I don't know. It remains to be seen.
Well, I mean, I think speaking of centre backs, it's obviously clear that obviously Virgil van Dijk's influence at Liverpool is missed at Southampton massively. I don't think it was seen so much when he was there, but now he's kind of left. You can see what he does for a side. I mean, you're talking about centre halves, and obviously when we played your place, I think the best term says we battered you.
Yeah.
There was that 30 move pass where we at the end where we got a great goal. You had those other 2 finishes as well, and it's kind of a case of, we just seem to go through you. When you're saying sell before you can buy, who do you think's most likely to go out the door?
Well, like I said, a couple of players that really spring to mind. First of all, it's got to be Gabbiadini. Really sad to see him. He endeared himself. We loved him for scoring those couple of goals in the cup final. The goal as well to keep us up last season. He'll always go down in history and endear himself to the fan base, but he's not been given a chance really in Hasenhüttl's teams. And you've probably got to look at Wesley Hoop perhaps at centre back. He was absolutely adored by Mark Hughes, despite making mistake after mistake, an own goal after own goal, but he somehow found himself in the starting 11 every single week whilst Mark Hughes was here. And perhaps you can look at Cedric. I mean, just a second ago, he is training, he is there. Apparently, he is fit. He's regaining fitness, but he's been overlooked for two youngsters. So those are the three that perhaps spring to mind. Another one in Elianusa, who we paid £16 million for in the summer, really hasn't sort of kicked on this season. He hasn't really offered too much at all. Looks a bit too weak. Perhaps he needs a bit of confidence, an arm around the shoulder for him as well. He hasn't been as influential. Apparently, we watched him nearly 30 times before we signed him. So it remains to be seen whether he can kick on in the Premier League as well. But ultimately, the team is bloated. So we've got far too many centre midfielders. We've got underperforming centre backs, and we're starting to kick on a little bit of our strikers in Danny Ings, who's our top scorer.
I mean, Danny Ings is another player, which I think when he signed for you, I think everyone was a bit shocked, thought it was a bit of a gamble. How's he looking for you? Do you reckon he's someone that we had to be watching out for when we play you guys?
Yeah, well, if he plays, he missed out against Man City, sat on the bench, I think perhaps more so just to rest. I'm sure his reputation precedes him about his injury proneness, I suppose. But maybe it's better for him to sit on the bench and rest up a little bit against Man City. Obviously, thinking we won't get much out of it, but I'd love to see him back in the side. I think he will come back into the starting 11. Charlie Austin started against Man City. And he's scoring goals, and he's loving his time. He loves playing for the club. Grew up down the road in Netley, so everybody loves him. He's one of our own.
Do you reckon you can see him signing permanently from Liverpool?
He is. That is the deal. Yeah. So the first year, So it's a loan to permanent transfer. It will go through officially for around £18 million in the summer, but that's the deal.
Okay, well, I mean, that's not actually a bad little bit of business, that, if he's doing so well for you guys. Obviously, the injury record could be something which hinders you in the future. But, I mean, it'd be interesting to see how he does, because I do like Danny Ings. I think he's a very good centre forward, as much as I do like Charlie Austin. And I do want to touch on Charlie Austin now, because this has just popped into my head, right? Charlie Austin and VAR. Is he the reason that we're getting it in the Premier League?
Why not? Yes, absolutely. You need a bit of character. You need somebody to come out in these press interviews and actually tell her how it is. And Charlie Austin's perhaps one of the, I don't know, sort of real. He has a real personality, rather than seeing sort of people just posting on Twitter, "Oh, upset with today. Thank you very much, fans. We go to the next one." We want to see a bit of character, and we've seen that from Charlie Austin. He has no filter. Apparently, flicking the V's to the Man City fans yesterday on the way off the pitch. So, we'll have to see that from him as well. And the FA apparently written to him. But come on, I mean, it's almost a bit like a top six bias. I mean, there were so many as well, flying tackles in at the weekend, so many offside decisions, so many penalty decisions, and thankfully, Charlie Austin was the straw that broke the camel's back in terms of video assistant referees.
Well, let's see if it actually has an influence and Mike Dean doesn't just decide to have a bit of theatrics when it comes to looking at VAR, and he actually uses it correctly. But, I mean, I think with VAR, another thing as well, I think there's still a split opinion. Where do you stand on video assistant refereeing?
100%, I want it. Yeah, absolutely. Like I just said, there's so many inconsistent decisions going one way or another. We've been hindered by those decisions so many times over the last 18 months. Firstly, in the EFL Cup final, thankfully, but the VAR came in the next season for the Carabao Cup. We were denied a goal that would have set us ahead in the cup final, so that was the first one for us. Last season, in January, the handball with Abdoulaye Doucouré equalising Watford right in the very last minute, and had we had that 3 points, we could have kicked on a little bit as well. And this season as well, Charlie Austin's goal being ruled out for what was it, offside, handball, whatever it was, but 100% for us. I'm 100% for it, and I can't wait.
Yeah, I agree. There's too many people out there saying it would ruin the flow of the game, but we saw during the World Cup how useful it was.
Yeah.
And it'd stop having these debates, and even though people say they like to have these debates in the pub or whatever, I like to have the 3 points. So I'm kind of more set on that.
The thing is, like you said, the World Cup, it was used to its potential. The referees knew it inside out, when to go to it. But as it is, like you say, Mike Dean has a personality of his own, and some of the referees like to play up to these decisions and love the attention. So hopefully they can swallow their pride and their personality to actually go to these video assistants.
I really hope so. I mean, it still needs some work. I'd quite like to see a system where maybe, how in tennis they have like the 3 challenges as well. I'd quite like maybe there could be something where you could challenge a decision and kind of just sort of really play to it and say, look, it's not a penalty because this happened and this happened. Can you look at it, please? But I think that maybe there's still work to be done there, but who knows? But we'll get back to the football. Well, technically it's still part of football. We'll get back to our game. I think that's obviously, like you've said, you've got a lot of injuries. You're playing a lot of youth players, and you're really, looking to kick on under Hasenhüttl. And obviously in January you want to make some signings. But what is going to be the 11 that is likely to face Chelsea, and what are the strengths and weaknesses to it?
Oh, mate, I couldn't tell you. I have to say the selection against Man City was somewhat bizarre. Some players that hardly played a game. We had little experience at the back, with a under-18 player coming in at right back. But, I mean, if we had our first 11 available, then you probably got to say McCarthy in goal. Cedric, if he's fit, if he even wants to play. But I think it's more so lazy-itis, not so much... wanting to play. You probably got to go for Jan Valery at right back if he wants to play a 3 or a 5. If it's a 3, then you're probably looking at Yoshida and Vestergaard alongside Bednarek, with Matt Targett on the left side, Bertrand still out. So that's the 5 at the back, I suppose, in midfield. Højbjerg just been suspended again. Got sent off against Man City for a reckless challenge. If you look back at the replays, Company had a similar thing. 2 feet off the ground, reckless. Like I said, the top 6 bias, mate. So we'll see what happens on Wednesday, see if your decisions go for you or not. But Højbjerg's going to be out for 4 games. Huge miss. Held the captaincy recently. He needs to change his discipline really to get back in line. But we've got to see Romeu, probably Lamina in midfield alongside him in the front 3, perhaps, of Danny Ings, Redmond, and who knows, Elyounoussi or Armstrong.
It's a really strong team. Armstrong, I remember, he had a little purple patch a few games ago where he was just scoring continuously and really causing problems. Is he someone? Obviously, we've spoken about Redmond before, and me, I'm a massive admirer of Nathan Redmond, and we've spoken about how pivotal he is for you. Obviously, he scored his first goal over 27 attempts a couple of games ago. Is he kicking on under Hasenhüttl?
Yeah, so I mean, if you touch back on the very start of the season, he went to his own training sessions, his own sort of fitness camp, I suppose, to America. Went away for 4 weeks, spent 2 weeks with his pals, then 2 weeks on his own to get himself fit, sharp, strong, and he sort of carried that through. He's looked a totally improved player this season. He was totally improved sort of under Mark Hughes' early stage of the season. Faded away a little bit between October and November, but once again looks a bit reborn. Once again under Hasenhüttl, really playing with positivity, playing with his head up, playing, taking players on as well and scoring a couple of goals whilst he's at it. So yeah, great to see Redmond kicking on finally.
And Armstrong as well. What's he like? Obviously, like I said, the purple patch. Is he now a really key member of this team?
Well, I mean, depends what sort of rotation policy Hasenhüttl will employ. I like Armstrong. He's a sort of gutsy midfielder, gets forward as much as he can, scored goals against Fulham, Man United, that purple patch. I quite like him. Sort of a tenacious, sort of a go-getting midfielder, scored lots of goals at Celtic, and I'd love to see him score some more goals. But like I say, who knows what sort of selection he might employ. Who knows?
Well, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens in this game. And the last thing I'm going to ask you, Freddie, give me that good score prediction, please. What do you think is going to happen in this game?
Well, Chelsea have been winning a lot of games, haven't they, by the single goal. So I think it's probably going to go the same way. I think we'll score, but I don't see us taking 3 points from Stamford Bridge. I'd love to see it, but I think the score's been stretched too much over this festive period, and we might see a couple of youngsters, and just that inexperience will probably let us down. So Chelsea by 1 goal.
So you're going 2-1 Chelsea, right?
I'd go for that, yeah.
Okay, well, you heard it here from Freddie from the Ugly Inside. Obviously, if you want to see our opposition preview, make sure you head across to their channel as well. There'll be a link down in the description. Obviously, thank you, Freddie. Obviously, it's a new year as well, 2019. It's a beautiful time. We've got to make sure you've got your New Year's resolution sorted. Mine, obviously, is what it is every year and always fails to lose weight. But we'll still give it another go this year. Have you got any New Year's resolutions, Freddie? What are you thinking of doing?
I think everybody should get on board the Hasenhüttl Express, and we'll be staying up this season. That's our resolution, mate.
That's yours. Oh, okay. Well, listen, if they stay up, I do like coming down to Southampton. I always enjoy doing our preview. So fingers crossed for you guys. You do really well this season. Obviously, this is the last time I'm going to be seeing unless we get you in the cup or anything. But yeah, listen. Obviously, best of luck apart from this game because I kind of want to win that. But guys, listen. Make sure you subscribe to 100% Chelsea. Thanks, Freddie, for coming on. All social media links are down in the description: Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter, and Instagram, as well as Freddie's as well. Yeah, Happy New Year, and we'll see you at the game.